Hey guys, welcome back. So it is finally here, the most wonderful time of the year. We get to play with all this makeup, we get to do all these creative looks. I'm super excited, hope that you guys are too. Today we are going to be going over this look right here, which is a sugar skull inspired look. So if you want to learn how to recreate this or something like this, stay tuned. All right, so we are going to start with prepping our skin. So we're gonna put a little bit of, this is both a moisturizer and a primer. This is Clinique Pep Start. It is a little bit on the pricey side. You don't have to use something this expensive. If you use something like Wet n Wild, which is like $3 or $4, you are gonna be fine. You can use just regular makeup, just regular like makeup primer. But I'm gonna use this one just because my face is a little bit dry. And the paints that I use for Halloween tend to dry me out a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of put this all over the place. I like to use the little lid that it has because I have nails right now and I don't know, I guess it's more sanitary. So go ahead and rub that in. Make sure you get all of your face. Make sure to get it in the areas that you know you are prone to be oily, just because that way it won't crease as hard as if you didn't have it. And make sure to get it down your neck too, because if you put the color down your neck, you want to make sure that you have it there too. So today, instead of using some regular foundation, we are actually going to use Wet n Wild's Paint Pot in the color, it's just white actually, in the color white. It depends on what you like to do. I actually like to do this kind of makeup with, first with a brush, and I usually use like a stippling brush for this. It's just easier, it's faster for me to do. Let me see, there we go. Stippling brush, or you can use a foundation brush. We can use both right now, we'll see. So we're gonna grab just a regular, this is actually a Wet n Wild brush as well. This is the foundation brush that I reviewed in the first video. And again, we're gonna go in here and you're gonna go all over your face that you've already primed. You always wanna give your primer a good like 30 seconds to get, to soak up whatever you just put on there so that there's a layer covering your skin. So make sure to do that. Make sure to coat this really, really nice and well. All right, and the trick to covering your face with these sorts of paints is to kind of do an X motion. So, because if you are to do just like this right here, it's gonna be very streaky and it's not gonna be as like, it's gonna be very streaky and you're gonna have to kind of go over and over and over again. So the best thing to do, and these are just something that I just, kind of found helpful, is to go in a crisscross motion across your entire face. So. You are covering all of your face, so that includes your lips, all the little nooks and crannies in your nose, and a little bit down your neck. And down your neck, I would say it doesn't matter as much, just because like if you wear a costume or something that's gonna kind of come in here, you're really not gonna need it and it's gonna get stained all over the place. So, you don't have to go all the way down your neck, but try to go as far down as possible. And again, we're covering everything, so make sure to cover your eyebrows, even though we're gonna go ahead and kind of paint over those. So. So this is a non-toxic paint. You can get really, really close to your eye, just like I did. But be careful when you do so, because if you get it in your eye, these are kind of like grease paints. So if that oil gets in your eye, it's gonna sting. If you have an area that's a little bit more porous, so that means that your pores are little holes in your face or in your skin, rather than your face, and your skin are a little bit larger, what I usually like to do is take the brush and kind of just like stab my skin so that it kind of the product really gets in there. It helps with the coverage too, especially for me, like around this area. I know that I have pretty large pores, and sometimes just like the concealers and like the foundations and all that won't really do it. So I tend to just kind of like go on there and stab it. So that is one of the tips that I give you. All right, so now that your face is covered and you look ridiculous, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your setting powder. So for this look, I'm using the Derma Blend Professional in the original color, or just state of it, which is just a very translucent white powder. Again, this one is a little bit on the pricey side. I would suggest going with something like the Airspun, the one that I've shown you guys in previous videos. And with this one, what I like to do is I like to take the lid. So it comes with a little tape, and I'm sure you just heard me take it off. But it comes with a little tape, and the powder sort of looks like that in here. So I like to take it and dump it into the actual lid. And I will take, it comes with a fluff, here we go. It comes with a little poof. So I'll take that, and it's very powdery, so you'll see it. And then I like to sort of set this so it doesn't go anywhere, because with these grease paints, they tend to budge a lot. Tip, if you have both glam and just makeup like this, you can just tap it and it'll sort of go away. Not completely, but it'll help with the itch is what I'm saying. I'm gonna start with just a regular liquid eyeliner, and this is by Ico London. I got this in an Ipsy bag. I would suggest using an eyeliner that you aren't a fan of anymore, just because it sometimes they get ruined with the paint that you're putting as a base. So just note, right? And I'm just gonna start doing the lines that I see. Always remember that when you are doing the mouth for a skull, like it's not a smiley line, so it's not gonna come up this way, it's gonna go straight this way. Because if you kind of like, pull on your mouth, your teeth don't come up. They go this way, so just remember that. So let me take this reference photo and try to recreate that mouth. And that's just a rough fill, because I'm probably gonna put a little bit of black lipstick in there. That's just to kind of sort of give you a rough idea of where you're gonna be at. So now with the same pen, you're gonna go ahead and make your little teeth. And that's really easy because you can just kind of go straight down as you're going. So alright, so now we have our teeth down. This is again going to be a very simple sort of skull candy look. So we're not going for a very complicated shading or anything like that. This is straight up for beginners, something that's super easy. So now, let's see. So my reference picture has a little heart in the middle of her forehead, and it's an upside down heart. It might be a little difficult for beginners to draw, so if it is a little difficult for you, you can always do it right side up and then just kind of take the swirls, not the squirrels, take the swirls that way. So let's do it. So they have, Wet n Wild has a Halloween line, and they actually have these pencils that have different colors to them. I actually have just the green, the red, and the purple. I felt like that's the only really necessary ones that I needed. Everything else I can probably do with eyeshadow. So we're gonna take the one in red. This is the multi-stick from Wet n Wild in just red. And we're gonna kind of just fill this little heart in right here. And mine also has a little flower here with little petals. So we're gonna start here so you can see the flower. We're gonna start right here on the chin. I know this sort of looks just like a blob right now, but we're gonna fill it in and give it some dimension. All right, so we're gonna take the Wet n Wild. This is very liquid liner, and this is in just a regular black, and this is the Mega liner. And this is what we're gonna use to give that little flower some detail. So again, this is very liquidy, so just be very careful. I would suggest to just sort of rest your hand on your chest, like this sort of area, so that you can have some stability. Or you can put it, if you have a table in front of you, put it on top, in front of the, or on top of the table. Put your elbow on top of the table. And with roses, it depends on how realistic you want to make them, and they can get really complicated if you want to make them that realistic. But for something like this, you want to just kind of like swirl it as you're going to give you that nice little rose shape. So let's do that. And because this is very liquid, you're gonna have to kind of refill every so bit. So just be careful with the dry, because it'll tug at your makeup. So as you can see, it's sort of a rose. And now we're gonna give it its little petals, and that's gonna be with the green shade. And you kind of wanna let this dry a little bit, just because again, that liner tends to be a little wet. So you don't wanna smudge the black all over your white, beautiful canvas. So we can start out here right now. Alright, so as you can see, now you have your little rose. So we're gonna let that dry just a little bit. But now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a darker shade, and I'm going to actually use my Dark Magic, and this is the Dark Magic one. And we're gonna take this very dark green color right here in the middle with a very, very, very fine brush. Reason being, well, you wanna make it detailed. So we're gonna take this little gel liner brush, which is tiny, it has a little point, and we're gonna dig in here. Not too hard, because this is actually very pigmented. So, and that will give you that nice dark outline for that. What I like to do, especially when I'm using cream paints on my face like this, what I like to do is I like to take this and sort of rub it on my hand every single time that I like swipe it in the face, just because I don't want to ruin my palettes. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I suppose what you could do too is just have like a napkin in front of you, but yeah, no, it'll wash off. All right, so here's our rose done. I'm actually quite happy with how it came out. What you can do too, if you wanted to kind of give it like a little bit of if you wanted to give it a little bit of a shine or a little bit of a different dimension, what you can do is you can actually take your another like palette, if you have it, or another color, something like this for me. And I'm gonna take these two colors right here, which are very red, and I'm gonna take a small sort of detail brush, kind of like this one right here, and which is just, this is just an e.l.f. This is actually an e.l.f. concealer brush. So you can take those two red shades and sort of put them in your rose, just to give it a little bit of light and dimension. Okay, so there's that. So we have our rose done, and now we're gonna go into the sort of eye part. And actually, before we go into that, let's take a dark color. So I actually am going to use eyeshadow for this. This is the Urban Decay Ultimate Basics Naked palette. So I'm gonna take this gray color off of there. However, if you don't have something like this, you can go again to Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild actually has a couple of really good eyeshadow palettes with these sort of colors, especially right now for Halloween. So make sure to check them out. They you can find them at like Walgreens and all that. So we're gonna take that just to sort of contour the face, and remember your skull, right? So you gotta have very, very hollow cheekbones. So remember that. And with these sorts of paints, you don't want to drag your brush. You sort of want to it's kind of like a pat and drag motion. So this way right there. See, so your skull. And if it helps, you can suck in your cheeks. You saw me doing that right now. You can suck in your cheeks just to give it that, give you that extra boost. Again, this is a very easy, very beginner's tutorial. Let me know down below if you guys want to get a little bit more complicated. We can. But let me know. Let me know what you guys think. And a very quick tip for you guys, if you guys want to have a lighter hand when you're applying makeup, grab it from the end. It's a lot lighter of an application than if you were to grab it from the very top where the bristles are at. All right, and as you go farther back, you kind of want to just dig into the black shadow, because it'll give you more of a 3D look, I guess. It'll make it darker, so it'll make it seem a little bit more sunken in than the rest of your face. And if you so happen to go over a little over, just like I did right now here, what you can do is take whatever is left on that brush that you had with the white, and sort of just go over it lightly. And you don't want to drag it, remember, because you already sort of put it in there. So if you drag it, it's coming right off. All right, and we're gonna put a little bit on the temples right here. So you want to make sure that your little temples are sort of sunken in, and they sort of connect to that part right here, because you want to kind of hide that part, remember. So, and again, the closer you get to the base or to the back, the darker you want to go with the color. So, like so. All right. Now I just want to make sure that I even myself out. Okay, so now we'll move on. So we get a little bit more swirls and stuff on the face, all the fun stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that liquid liner again, that blackberry liquid liner again, and we're gonna go in the nose. Easiest way for me to do it, honestly, is just to go do 1 point here, 1 point there. So you're gonna do 2 little dots, and then you're gonna go this way. And I like to connect them to my nostrils because that way they look a little bit, I guess, smoother or more real. So let's do that. And actually, let us stand up because you guys can't see. So there you go. Now that you have your nose, and again, that's why I like to bring it down to the nostrils, because now it kind of blends in with the darkness of your actual nostrils, so you can't really like see the white that you already had in there. So now, again, you're gonna continue with the liner, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do some little swirls on the face. Again, you want to make sure that you have some sort of reference photo if you're not really like creative like that. So we're gonna take this. And mine actually has some swirls going down her face this way, so that's what we're gonna do. And again, you just kind of want to mirror what you're doing on one side to the other one, so try to make them as similar as possible. And also try not to breathe during this part because it's nerve-wracking. And now what I'm going to do, and this is just because, so mine has a little bit of a color in her, so what I'm going to do is whatever color I used for this chin part right here, I'm actually going to use to go around. So you're not gonna go on the crease of your eye because that's not what, like that's not where you wanna be. Where you wanna be is your skull, right? So you're gonna, all of this is, figure this part, your eye socket, all of this part right here, and I'm just gonna outline it with my fingers, but that part right there, that part is gonna be black. So above that, you want to, see? Above that, what you wanna do is you wanna bring out that color there. So I'm gonna put the color Sparks from the Jaclyn Hill palette. Again, this one is for Bling Boss. Bling Boss. I have such a hard time saying that. And we're gonna kind of just put that on the outer part of your eye socket. We're gonna blend that out. And the reason I'm doing this before I do the black is because it's easier to go over your mistakes, I guess, in black than it is to go into black and then try to put a color on top of it. It might make it bleed out and stuff, so just make sure to, and I always like to concentrate the color near the black part, and that way it looks like it's, you know, a gradient and it's not just sort of like a cloud of smoke. And then if you guys have brushes, if you guys aren't just buying brushes for this specifically, I would suggest to wash them immediately, or they can stain with these sort of grease paints. All right, so I'm just gonna continue blending this out. Now you can just grab a clean, fluffy brush and sort of just kind of go over it to soften it up a little bit. You almost want to blur it. You don't want to have any harsh lines. So, and always make sure to have fun with it, right? Like this is not, you're not going to America's Next Top Model with this makeup. So make sure to have fun and just practice. If it doesn't come out right the first time, it'll come up maybe the second time, you don't know. Also, I'm gonna take actually a brighter red color, and I'm actually gonna take that in my Back to Brazil palette. I actually love this palette. I think it's so multi-purposeful. I don't know if that's a word. That's definitely not a word. However, I'm going to go with this sort of, this color right here, this red. There we go, this red. Just to make things a little bit more bright, because they're a little bit dull right now. So I'm gonna take that red and we're gonna put it just all over again, the closer to the inner part of the eye socket. Again, you wanna make sure that this looks blurred out. So it's a gradient, right? You're working your way out from a dark, bright, vibrant color to a more muted, sort of bloodshotty color. So you're doing that. If you guys don't have something like this, I seriously recommend getting it. This was actually only $18. I bought it online, but I know that actually Ulta carries it now. Ulta didn't carry it when I bought it, so I paid shipping and handling and all that not so fun stuff. But if you guys get a chance to go to Ulta, you can actually buy this palette. It's again 18 bucks, and it's a really potent colored thing. So I really like it. I recommend it, especially for those girls who like to get really creative with their makeup. This would help you out tremendously. All right, cool. So now that we have these eye sockets sort of drawn in, what we're gonna do is going to take, let's see. So this is gonna be a little bit of a mess, but I actually like taking a little bit of just liquid lips and with the pointed side of it. So with every wand, you'll see the little pointy side on this side right here. With that, you're gonna go ahead and sort of outline. So this, if you are a beginner, let's do this. If you're a beginner, let's start with a, sort of like a pencil, right? Something with a fine point so that you can sort of determine where you want your eye socket to be. You are following your eye socket, you're not following your eye shape. So you're not gonna have a cat eye, you're not gonna have any of that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of sort of feel out your face. And this is, you can do this beforehand, you can do it meanwhile, you know, whatever. And you're gonna go off of that. So you're gonna have that like socket. If you actually push hard enough, you can feel where your eye socket is. So that way you don't have to, you know, be feeling your face the entire time. But this is where mine are at. Now I'm actually just gonna connect that part right there because there's no point in me to just not connect it. So something like this. And don't worry, your eyebrow is going to be gone. So goodbye, say goodbye to your eyebrow. This is the time where it leaves you. And if you're crazy enough, shave your eyebrows. I'm kidding, do not shave your eyebrows. Although I've heard that if you shave your eyebrows, they actually come back quite quick. But I'm definitely not gonna be the judge of that. I don't have the face for that. Also, people would think I'm nuts, and I'm sure they already do. If you have a kid and you want to do this to them, it's actually kind of easier to do it on somebody else than to do it on yourself if you are not well versed in the makeup realm yourself. Because it's easier to paint on something, right? It's easier to do it on somebody else than to do it on yourself. So just a quick note, if y'all wanted something easy, you can use your makeup. You don't even have to go out to Target and buy everything in store. So also, in hindsight, you don't have to cover your eyes. I did for God knows what reason, but you don't have to. All right, so now that we have one eye done, and you want to fill that inner waterline too, because if you don't fill that waterline, you see how it looks kind of weird. So you want to make sure that you get like everywhere. So again, you just want to sort of press on the bottom part of your eye. All right, see the difference? You see it? And now what I'm gonna show you what you need to do with once you put the eyeliner on, or the lipstick. I'll show you the other way with lipstick. What you want to do is you want to take a brush. It could be any brush. I'm gonna use just a regular packing brush, and you're gonna take a black, which is this one right here, and you're gonna go over it. Reason being is that'll set the color and it'll give it a more intense sort of look instead of just having it, you know, kind of freely smudge everywhere. So you just want to take it and pat it everywhere you just put that color on right now. That's where you want to put it. And that's why I love this palette, because it's so versatile. Like you can use it to make a smoky eye. All right, and now we're gonna put it in the actual eyelid. I don't think we put it there yet. All right, and this is actually, you can use this to, you can use something like this to like define the shape of your skull. All right, so now we're gonna do the other eye, and I'm gonna do it with the lipstick so that you can see it. So let's do that. I'm running out of space on this table, you guys. All right, so black lipstick. This is just, again, the Wet n Wild. I really like Wet n Wild for these sort of looks because they're very versatile, just makeup. Lipsticks you can use on your eyes, just try not to get it so close to your actual eyeball. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this right here. So I'm gonna actually start in the middle, filling it, making sure to like that part. And then we're gonna try again to make the same general shape that you did with the other color, or with the other eye. All right, now you just want to let it dry. This is a matte lipstick, so it will dry, and you're going to take an eyeliner for your eye. You don't want to use just a regular lipstick for the inside of your waterline. It is going to be the most unpleasant thing in the world, so don't do that. All right, and you're gonna let that dry, nice and matte. It might take a minute, which is why sometimes it depends on what you like, right? It depends on what you want to wait, what you like. And with this one, you definitely want to set it again with the same black, because this will smudge and it'll go everywhere. So make sure to get that crease, like the, not the crease, but your like eyelid, because that's going to probably be the first place that it'll crease. Just blowing off some of that. All right, so as you can see, we're almost done. We just need a couple of swirls. I kind of want to add a little bit of a more pizzazz to the overall look. But you can actually do some shading to your... All right, and while we wait for this side to completely dry, what we're going to do is we're going to hopefully not let anything else fall. But we're going to take your, again, your multi-stick or a multi-purpose pen or color, and we're just going to add pizzazz wherever we think we need it. So I think that I need a little bit more of something, I don't know, around these parts right here. I'm not going to bring it all the way down, so I'm just going to bring it here so that it kind of does one of these things around my eye. So same thing to the other eye, and I'm doing this right above that red color that we did. There we go. Alrighty, now we're gonna take that liquid liner once again, and we're gonna do some swirls at the top of the head. And for this one, I think my reference picture, she has them kind of across her forehead, and I really didn't like that. So what I'm going to do is first take this hair off this liner so it doesn't ruin my makeup. But second, I'm going to take it and I'm actually gonna bring it from here up. So from this little part right here, we're gonna bring it up. We're gonna dip it again. We're gonna make a tiny little swirl here. Yeah, I like that. All right, and we're gonna do the same to the other. Again, you're mirroring everything that you're doing here, you're gonna do here. So now, and it may not be perfect, because mine definitely isn't. But again, have fun. This is for Halloween. You're going out to do some trick-or-treating, some fun, and this is gonna come off at the end of the night, so have fun. Just gonna add some little dots. Also, I forgot to do this, but what I'm going to do with this one is actually for the little heart, because I want it to pop just a little bit more. I'm gonna take that same palette that I used around my eyes, and I'm gonna use this sort of metallic-y red color right here. I'm just gonna go inside of it. Again, just to give it some light. I just wanna make sure that it like sort of pops when the light hits it. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of lipstick to this look. Actually, let's do it. Let's be adventurous today. Just a little bit though. I'm just gonna do a little bit of, I'm not gonna go over my actual lips because they're actually kind of large. So I'm gonna make my own little tiny sort of lip. So here we go. So see, you're gonna give yourself little dainty lips. Clearly this is not what my lips look like. Because I have a lot bigger lips. My lips actually come out down here. But what we're gonna do is let this just dry just a little bit. We're gonna go over those teeth. Okay. And as a finishing touch, just because I wanna sort of bring a little bit of light into this makeup, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fan brush, but I'm going to take the small one, not the big one. A very small fan brush, like this one, very thin, very small. And I'm going to go with this highlighter right here. You can go with a very white highlighter. Again, Wet n Wild has really good selections for that. What I'm going to do is just hit those little kind of edges right here. where it's my actual cheekbones on the skull, and a little bit on the forehead, and just a little bit down here down the nose. Again, this is just to give it a little bit more dimension. You don't have to do this. You can leave it as is and go trick-or-treating as soon as you're done with your makeup. This is just to give your bones a little bit luminosity, you know. Alright, so I'm gonna sort of fix my hair, and I'll be back. So this is the final look. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Stay tuned for more Halloween looks to come for the rest of October. And make sure to check out all of my social medias, which is Instagram and Twitter, MillyB_MUA. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.